Hello, my name is Joan and I work at Craven College. And of course, this is my studio at home because that's where we're working at the minute, temporarily. So I've shown you different techniques in the past, weaving, braiding and embroidery. And now I'm going to show you patchwork. And patchwork is about using up old fabric to make something new. It's an ancient technique, at least it's a very old technique, and it's an incredibly fashionable technique at the minute. So I'm going to show you an example of very chunky patchwork, which has suddenly got stuck in the sense of big pieces. So this is a patchwork dress. You can just about see there's the bodice on a hanger and all the nice little buttons to match, all the different colours of patches. And this patchwork dress is in chiffon silk. All the different colours. Now, opposite to all of that nice gentle colours, I've got a piece of patchwork I bought in Central Asia. And you can see it's very boldly coloured, using old Russian floral scarves and not particularly pleasant old fabric, but making it absolutely stunning by patching it in here. Bits of white sheeting, bits of synthetic ribbed material, lovely grey, but it's only lovely because of all the other lovely things around it. So it's really made old things special and new. And then one other patchwork is just a little bag of samples. Now, quite often I've been given lots of fabric samples, which are maybe no bigger than these squares. Rather than throwing them away in the landfill, they've all been sewn together, made a little handle, and then it's made a lovely little bag. And we all need shopping bags, even for the groceries. So I'm going to do some patchwork with you. It's going to be hand-done patchwork in America in about the 1700s, 1800s. Lots of people did patchwork, and there are beautiful collections of patchwork quilts, patchwork blankets. And in Ireland, where I come from, there are some museums that have amazing patchwork out of very old woolen and linen clothing, and they've made them, all the old clothing, into blankets. So we're going to do patchwork based on the diamond. And the diamond will all be joined up, 3 diamonds together. I just show you here. And because they're in 3 different scraps of fabric, it suddenly looks like a cube, but it's not. It's only 3 pieces of fabric. The yellow with the stars, the blue with the check, and the lilac. So I'm going to get you to that stage, I think, step by step. So my diamond, I have measured it out. Let's see if I can see which way it is. So the longest line from point to point is 14 centimetres. So you're going to measure 14 centimetres, and at the 7 centimetre halfway, you'll put a little mark, and at right angles, you'll do 8 centimetres. So at 4 centimetres, it'll reach the 7 centimetre mark. But that will give you a nice cross, and then you'll join your points to make this diamond. And you'll do it on a piece of something more than paper. It's light card. So cereal packet will do. And then you'll have a little piece of light card cut out, and you'll keep that as your template. That's the one that you need to keep all the time without sewing it into anything. So what you'll do is you'll find old envelopes, if you like, And there's always plenty of spare old envelopes coming through my front door. I'm the postman. And you'll lay them carefully and economically. You'll lay on your template onto your envelope. And that'll give me 1, 2, 3 diamonds when I cut them out. See there? So I've got all these lightweight paper diamonds. So from my lightweight paper diamonds, I'm going to collect all my interesting scraps of fabric. Here's some bits of lilac. Here's some bits of gingham, which I haven't used in this instance. All old cotton scraps. Some green floral. It is quite good to use mainly cotton if you've got old cotton things, and rigid fabric, not stretchy fabric. Rigid fabric's good. But if you're careful, you can use any old scraps of fabric. I've got some silk here, and silk's always got a nice sheen to it and a nice finish. This is just the edge of an old bit of yellow silk with stars printed on it. So I've put my diamond onto my fabric, just pinned it once in the middle, and then just 1 centimetre on the outside of my diamond. If you like, you can draw that line all around your diamond because you need that extra bit to fold over the piece of paper. And then when you cut it out, let me cut it out. It's just a little bit bigger than the paper diamond, but the paper diamond is pinned on to keep it secure in place. And so my little bit of scrap lilac is now nicely shaped into a diamond. And I'm now going to fold over and put my pin on each of the folded sides and in the corners. And then you'll see on the side facing you, it'll be all folded over neatly. So you'll just fold it over like that. And you need to be sure that you just carefully fold in the sharp corners. They're the hardest bit. And it takes a bit of time just to be careful. So you can see I've folded in the corner just carefully. And it all comes with the more you do it. But for the first time, just take your time. So I'm just going to fold it down and fold it over. Or you can even trim off that pointed corner. So I've folded that down. And this is when you realize just how wonderful your fingers are, because you can hold everything down and you're in control of it. Now, I'm going to actually do what I mentioned. I'm going to trim that corner just enough, just so when I fold that over, it's not too thick for hand sewing. And be careful that you don't prick yourself with the pointed pin. And finally, you've got them all folded over. You can see there, or if I show you with this one, and it's all pinned. So it's blue check, lilac, and silk, those three. And we need obviously lots and lots of them. So it's up to you. You could get your template, which is measured out that way and that way, which the measurements are 14 centimeters by 8 template. Cut out lots of light paper in the shape of the diamond, and then cut out your fabric just 1 centimeter bigger, just to be sure you've got enough to fold over your diamond. And then when you've folded it over, pin it down. and we've moved on a step. So what you need are 2 diamonds to start with to sew together. And because we want to make what is in the world of patchwork, the traditional name is the tumbling block, which is when the 3 are together. We've made a cube. So although I was doing this about colour and what happens when you put colour together, I suddenly realised it's also about geometry and when you put shapes together. So we're going to take 2 and we want them to be joined there and close that over, and we're going to sew along there, sew along that side. So I've got my needle and my thread. Now do not knot your needle at the eye of the needle. That should be fairly safely fluid. And we're going to sew it together, which I have done already all the way down, but I'll just finish it off. So what you're going to do is you've got the 2 sides folded over, and you're going to go in a circular movement. Through, and then back to the same side as you started. So it's like a little loop you're making all the way along. Not sure where to hold it. And then push it through. It's a circle, very tiny circular movement. In that side, out this side, in the right, out the left, all the way along to the end. And then when you've done that, what I do instead of tying it off is I just reverse back into my sewing, just backwards into my sewing, pull it through, and with my scissors, snip it off. And I've joined 2 together. And then I'm going to decide how I'm going to join part 3. So what I'm going to do is it sits like that. I put the right sides together so the yellow is against the blue, like that. And I'll sew along this side first, and then I'll sew along that side next. So I make sure that the points are in the center. I go to the right and bring it through to the left. And just leave a little bit of length there because I'm going to trap it in. And I'm going to go backwards 1 stitch. Right, and then make my way all the way along, and eventually it'll join it up when I don't lose my thread into my tumbling block. And of course, the more you make, the more tumbling blocks you will have, and then you can join them all together, which I can't do any more than just the one just now. But if you make another lot of tumbling blocks and another lot of tumbling blocks, you'll have a big patchwork of what looks like 3D shapes. Now, another way you can actually lay out these, they don't have to be like tumbling blocks. Another way you can lay them out is like a star, and you can join them all up like a star. So I'm going to just lay them on the table because that's the only way. And I'm going to turn my camera out and see. So that's the same tumbling blocks, looking like a star, all from diamonds. Okay, if you do manage to do some, then take a photograph. I'd love to see what you do. And I'll come back later with some more techniques.